Have you ever wanted to talk about something meaningful in English but didn't know the right words? Maybe you care about the environment. Maybe you've heard people talk about Earth Day, but when it's your turn to speak, you hesitate, you pause, and you're not sure how to express your thoughts clearly.
That's a very common situation. Many English learners understand topics like climate change, recycling, or protecting nature, but when it comes to speaking, it feels difficult to organize ideas and sound natural.
Exactly. And that's why today's conversation is so helpful. We're going to practice a real, natural conversation about Earth Day, something people talk about every year on April 22. By the end of this video, you'll feel more confident sharing your opinions, asking questions, and having simple but meaningful conversations in English. I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo. We're really happy you're here practicing with us today. If you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the English Talk channel.
All right, let's get into today's conversation. Hey Leo, I was just reading something interesting this morning. Did you know that Earth Day is coming up on April 22?
Oh, right, Earth Day. I've heard about it before, but I don't always remember the exact date. What were you reading about?
It was an article about simple ways people can help the environment. It made me realize that sometimes we think we need to do something big, but actually small actions can make a difference.
That makes sense. I think a lot of people feel overwhelmed when they hear about environmental problems. They think, what can I really do? But small changes are more realistic.
Exactly. By the way, overwhelmed is a useful word here. It means feeling like something is too much or too difficult to handle.
Right, that's a great word to remember. I definitely feel overwhelmed sometimes when I hear about climate issues.
Same here, but Earth Day is a good reminder that we can start somewhere. Do you usually do anything special for Earth Day?
To be honest, not really. I'm aware of it, but I haven't had a specific routine or habit for that day. What about you?
I try to do something small but intentional. For example, last year I spent the day avoiding plastic as much as possible. I brought my own bags, used a reusable water bottle, and avoided buying packaged food.
That sounds practical. I like that idea because it's not complicated. It's just being more aware of your choices.
Exactly. Awareness is a big part of it. Once you start noticing your habits, you naturally begin to change them.
That's true. For example, I recently started turning off lights more consciously when I leave a room. It sounds simple, but before, I didn't really think about it.
That's actually a great example. Saving energy is one of the easiest ways to help the environment.
I agree, but sometimes I wonder, are these small actions really enough?
That's a fair question. I think individually, small actions might seem limited, but when millions of people do them, the impact becomes significant.
That makes sense. So it's more about collective action, many people doing small things together.
Exactly. Collective means done by a group of people, not just one person.
Got it. Collective action. I like that phrase.
Also, Earth Day is not just about individual habits, it's also about education and awareness. Schools, companies, and communities often organize events.
Like what kind of events?
Things like park cleanups, tree planting, or educational workshops about recycling and sustainability.
Wait, can you repeat that last word? Sustain what?
Of course, sustainability. It means using resources in a way that doesn't harm the environment or reduce them for future generations.
Ah, sustainability. That's an important word. Thanks for repeating that.
No problem at all. It's always okay to ask someone to repeat or clarify.
Yeah, that really helps. So sustainability is about thinking long term, not just about today.
Exactly. It's about balance, meeting our needs now without damaging the future.
That's a powerful idea. I think more people are starting to understand that.
I agree. Even small things like recycling are becoming more common.
Speaking of recycling, I have a question. Sometimes I'm not sure what can be recycled and what cannot. it feels confusing.
That's very normal. Recycling rules can vary depending on where you live, but generally, materials like paper, glass, and certain plastics can be recycled.
I see, so it depends on local rules.
Exactly. When we say it depends, we mean the answer changes based on the situation.
Got it. That's a useful phrase.
Another important idea connected to Earth Day is reducing waste.
Right, like using less plastic, right?
Yes, that's one example. Also, reusing items instead of throwing them away. For example, using a reusable shopping bag or a refillable bottle.
I've started doing that recently. At first, I would forget my reusable bag, but now it's becoming a habit.
That's great progress. Habits take time to build, but once they become natural, it feels easy.
That's true. I don't even think about it as much anymore.
That's the goal, making eco-friendly choices part of your routine.
You know, something else I've been thinking about is transportation. I usually drive everywhere, but I've heard that using public transportation is better for the environment.
Yes, that's true. Taking the bus, train, or even biking can reduce pollution.
I've considered biking, but I'm not sure if it's practical for my daily routine.
That's understandable. Not every solution works for everyone. The important thing is to find what fits your lifestyle.
Right, that makes sense. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly. Progress is more important than perfection.
I like that. Progress over perfection.
Another thing people talk about on Earth Day is protecting nature, like forests and oceans.
Yeah, I've seen documentaries about ocean pollution. It's really concerning.
It is, but again, awareness leads to change. The more people understand the problem, the more likely they are to act.
That's true. I think education plays a big role.
Definitely. Even conversations like this one are part of that process.
You're right. Talking about it helps people think differently.
So, if you were to do one thing this Earth Day, what would it be?
I think I would start by reducing plastic use for the day. Maybe I could also encourage a friend to join me.
That's a great idea. Doing it with someone else makes it more motivating. What about you? What are you planning this year?
I'm thinking about joining a local cleanup event. It's a simple way to help and also meet people who care about the same things.
That sounds really meaningful. I like that it's both social and helpful.
Exactly, and it makes the experience more enjoyable. You know, this conversation is making me think differently about Earth Day. Before it felt like just another date, but now it feels more important.
I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes all it takes is a simple conversation to change perspective.
That's true, and I feel more confident talking about this topic in English now.
That's exactly the goal, being able to express your thoughts clearly and naturally.
And that brings us to the end of today's conversation about Earth Day.
We hope this helped you feel more confident talking about real-world topics in English. Remember, you don't need perfect grammar or advanced vocabulary. You just need to communicate your ideas clearly.
Start with small sentences, simple ideas, and build from there. Just like we talked about today, small steps can lead to big changes.
Exactly. Whether it's practicing English or helping the environment, consistency matters more than perfection.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the English Talk channel.
Thank you for practicing with us today. Keep speaking, keep improving, and we'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye for now, and take care.